Etiquette, where our month is a way of life. And we are here tonight with our bedtime chronicles for our regular viewers. And I would like to say for you night owls that are up, night owls like me, please come on in. Please tag a friend if they are waking up at this hour. And tag a friend and please will come on in. Please also share across your various social media platforms. And for those of you that might be watching on YouTube, please do the same and hit the subscribe button so that you get the regular notifications of where we are broadcasting and you will be a regular part of our viewing audience. I greatly appreciate that. I want to get right on into our subject area on tonight. Like I said, this is our Bedtime Chronicles issue, and I have been away, but I was not broadcasting at all on last week. I was attending the International Faith Conference at my church, Living Word Christian Center, where Dr. Bill Winston is the pastor, and it was so totally off the chain. I'm not really going to talk about the conference on tonight, but I did want to share with you all why I was away for the morning Bedtime Chronicles. We had some Star Generals of Faith that were on the platform ministering to us day and night. My own pastor, Dr. Bill Winston. And then we had Bishop Tudor Bismarck. We had Pastor Kenneth Copeland. We had Jesse Duplantis. We had Dr. Patricia Beatty. We had Pastor Cheryl Brady. We had Creflo Dollar. And we were ministered to by various um, musical artists such as Donald Lawrence, Marvin Sapp, Walt Whitman and the Soul Children, Walt Whitman and the Soul Children of Chicago, Fred Hammond. I mean, the lineup was great. David and Nicole Binion. We had an awesome time all week long. But like I said, I'm not really going to talk about the conference, but that is why I was out on all of this past week. But now we're back with Bedtime Chronicles. And for those of you that are here watching, thank you for being here as well. For my replay viewers, please please for my replay viewers, thank you. I'm sorry for being here as well. You're greatly appreciated. And so tonight in our Bedtime Chronicles issues, we're going to talk a little bit about depression. Now, let me clarify and say this. I talk on these various subject matters, not just because I do want to, but I feel really truly that I'm being led to address these issues. I'm not a social worker or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I am a woman who cares. And because I care, I'm willing to take the experiences that I have had in the workplace and otherwise and share them with you. I'm willing to do the research, a bit of work, and just try to gain some insight into why these things happen to people, how they affect us, especially as women, and what our role should be in society. And I am really talking to everyone, not just women, but what can we do to help our sister, mother, daughter, next door neighbor, co-worker, whomever it is that crosses into our path. We need to know that they are there for a reason and there's something that we can do as an individual. There's something that we can do. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about depression on tonight. I'm considering this a part of our Bedtime Chronicle series about the battered women because depression, gosh, you're battered in a completely different way. It is all mental and emotional, and it manifests oftentimes in a physical way. In a physical, it manifests, of course, emotionally and mentally, but it sometimes also manifests in a physical way. And so, unfortunately, I've had the experience, mostly in my work, to encounter women that are dealing with depression, and I mean on a deep level, on a really deep level. And it breaks my heart because when this happens, every person's, especially in the close inner circle, their parents, their siblings, their significant others, they also are affected by that individual's disease. If it gets to the point where they have to go away, they're greatly affected. So I will say this: if you think you are depressed, probably are. If you think that you need help, you probably do. If you think that you're depressed and you need, if you think that you're depressed and you should tell someone, I strongly encourage you and urge you to tell everyone. Please don't keep it to yourself. If you are around someone and they tell you that they are depressed, please believe them. Don't just brush it off and say, oh, it's just stress. Yes, at like 1,000% or 100,000%. Please don't just brush it off. Don't just say, oh, it's the job or it's the schedule or whatever it is that comes to your mind. If someone tells you that they are depressed, please believe them. If someone tells you that they don't feel well and they haven't been feeling well for a long time, begin to ask questions. Try to make your well. Then why? Where it hurt? You haven't been feeling well. You know what? I take that back. I take that back because it's just, there has been and there is oftentimes in all of our families someone who will say that they're depressed. They take, we need to move it, but then we also need to make sure that they get some help. And we need to make sure that they get some help. I'm not asking anyone or suggest themselves at personal risk trying to loved one, a family member, but I am that we not just stand idly by. Because then when some say, I knew something was going on, maybe there was something or something that you could have done that could have helped that particular individual. But because you didn't say anything, then perhaps it escalated to us. And we all need each other. I need you and you need me. This journey we call life. And sometimes we hit so hard with things until we find them difficult to deal with. And so we go inside. And we just stand there. You know how to swim. You have a lifeboat and raft. And you men are battered too. But it's very much like that battered person. Their abuser starts out at a low level oftentimes. And it goes from one level to the next level to the next level to the next level. So being abused realizes that they are it. And by then they've lost their self-esteem, self-worth, their own value, lost their own identity. Those are several things enough. And so when people they aren't in their right mind, they're thinking thoughts that don't belong to them. Oftentimes they do not belong to them. It is the spirit of depression. And that spirit of depression becomes as like a manipulator. I'm just trying to create a parable here for you to get some idea of what this may be like for the person that's going through it. And to be standing there on the sidelines, you see this going on, but to what she said, I had to go back and refer to my notes that I had physically written down. In the event that I would need to share this information, or in the event that I would need to unpack information to use for myself, the precipice upon which I found myself. I needed to go back and review that information and unpack that information and listen to the CDs and the tapes again and again and again and again to make sure that I had it for me. If I didn't have it for me, I certainly couldn't share it with anyone else. And that's the same position that our victims of depression are in. At this point, they don't get it. And so we have to be the ones to step in and to help them get it. To you to step in and make it happen. There are things that we know that's completely beyond our realm. Like you might not be able to change adult diapers, you might not be able to transfer and or pivot a person on the floor, or their situation is. When I say pivot, I mean it actually literally to make a turn and then figure a turn to make a change, one that's very, like I said, again, physical. It's a kind of change. It's not subtle. It's a big enough change to where you know that something different has happened. If we know just enough about it to be able to say what it is, I believe you may be suffering from, you know what, let's go and talk to your health care provider. Yeah. These are things that I think that we have to do. I think these are positions that we have to take, especially as women. We're raising up women, right? They are the future for tomorrow. They are the ones that's going to be helping to run society. And again, if we don't equip them in areas, they will fail. I'm not pronouncing that on them. I'm just saying there's a strong likelihood of that if they aren't prepared. If you're in school or going to work and you have to take a test, you know you have to take a test. You know what on day you're taking the test and the time. So you're given ample time by getting 2 weeks notice, 6 weeks notice about what's going on. Been given ample time to prepare, to get ready. But oftentimes for people that the depression strikes, it comes on maybe subtle in the beginning, but all of a sudden they find themselves very much over in the throes of depression in every. So this is some of what I am saying, that we have to make ourselves aware of the things again that our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, our families may be going. Uh, I get a little ping there, just talking about it a little bit. You know, we've been told to say, just as I'm doing right here tonight with this broadcast, because it was very frightening to hear a young person say with me, I know that there's something wrong with me. And if you're a family member and you have access to their doctor's information, please call the doctor and share with them what your experience has been, what they've been saying, and how they've been behaving, because there are signs and there are signals there that should let us know that something is really out of pocket with this individual. And there's something that should be done. So if you have access to any of their medical information, any of their medical records, please call their primary care physician and have him come and spend some time with her or him. Because again, these things happen across the board. They're not just for women. This is not women's depression. It's not just for women. Men get it too. Men get it too. They may be less likely to talk about it or to speak on it, but research supports that they do too, just like they get abused. Let me give you that number because I said that I would in a previous battered women, and I talked about that there are men that are battered as well. Over 800 men, when they admit that they're being abused and when they try to, that they get talked about, shamed out of it. Most of our facilities in the United States have housing and we have programs for women that are abused, but not for men. Not men were able to receive the same treatment. They were able to go into programs. There are a few homes across shelter and housing that may be abused. So if a man comes to you and tells you that he's depressed, don't just laugh it off and say, ha, ha, you're a man. You don't get depressed. You better get up and go to work. Go get a job. Take care of your family. Men have nervous breakdowns. They do. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. It's just been today that I've started having this like late summer allergy thing. Getting on my nerves. But anyway, over this, I will be okay. But just talking about those that are depressed, depression. Some people can go and talk about it and not ever have to be on meds. Sometimes it's just things that they need to talk through. They need to sort out with a third party that won't be biased. They're saying and against information that they are sharing. So sometimes that's all the issue is. But sometimes it escalates to a point where Walmart has to get involved. Yes, I said Walmart because some people go there to fill their prescriptions. Jules has to get involved. CVS. Your employer has to get involved if you're dealing with depression because some days you're so depressed until you can't make it to work. And so your employer, your company overall, what happens to their productivity level when you aren't there to carry your weight? What happens? Because they're affected by it too. Remember, I said in the beginning that everybody in that person's sphere is affected by them being depressed? Because when you miss the day at work, either your work piles up and is waiting for you when you get back, which is more tension on top of what you're already going through, or somebody on your job, in your department, in your area is going to have to pick up your workload until you get back. Everyone is affected, and that's why everyone that you trust should know about it. So, for those of you that are, please don't be afraid to share. Please don't crawl into a shell and stay there. Because sometimes, even when you are, we suspect a lot of things, but we don't want to just go around saying such and so and so, and this is what the problem is. That's rude, ill manners to do that. So we're not doing that, but we're doing something else that does not prove to be positive. If you want to know, ask the person. Don't ask anyone else. Ask the person. And keep asking until you get a satisfactory answer. If you can see the signs of depression, whereas all of a sudden they do not want to eat, all of a sudden they have no interest in participating in things that they used to, recreational things, level at work is gone slack, it's gone lighter. If that's the problem, then again, we need to ask what may be going on. She may be through something, or he may be going through something. So ask questions, find out what you can. Go on YouTube and look up signs of a depressed person and see what it says. Some of the signs are very, very simple. Like I said, sudden weight loss or sudden weight gain, loss in the interest of things that they used to be interested in, they no longer seem to want to do. The appetite changes. They don't eat as much. They only say, well, I only need, breakfast and um, I don't need dinner. I don't need things in between. So things like that, those are things that we can do, right, to get involved. Those are things that we should do to get involved. Ask questions. Even when you're not getting the right answer, even when you know perhaps that they may not be telling, but still ask. Because when you're consistent, what that shows the other person is that someone is behind them, that someone cares about them. And so that if I'm gone for days at a time, nation, then someone knows what may be going on. Share it with your boss, if possible. Check out your medical benefits, find out what's covered if you need treatment. Those are things that the person themselves can do. You can do those things yourself. Find out if you find that, as long as they don't fly away. Wait, man, I just look like I don't know what about the head. But again, a medical diagnosis. Don't get a medical diagnosis from a primary care physician because that is not his area of specialty, his or her area of specialty. But have them give you a referral so that you can get to the right person to get properly diagnosed. And then whatever your treatment is, be persistent. And for yourself, if you know that you're slipping into that mode at the same time, do go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Find out information. Get with a source that you trust. And read up on it. Become informed. You are your biggest advocate when you're standing before your doctor. You are the one that have to speak up for yourself. Okay, and if you can't, then there should be someone with you that can and will speak up on your behalf, because you don't want to be a guinea pig. You don't want them giving you a bunch of meds and, poking you and sticking you and sending you over here and over there and all that for research purposes. Please don't allow that to happen to yourself. But get a proper diagnosis. Follow up. Be consistent in your care, in your eating habits, in healthy interactions as much as is possible for you within the realm of whatever it is that you're going through, and for yourself. It should be a person that you trust, a family member, again, your significant other, your spouse, maybe a trusted friend, a clergy person. You already have someone there. So you can set up someone as proxy for you, so that if you find yourself in that situation, whether it's depression, health, and let me just say, in the African American community, sometimes we may go about it in a roundabout way, but do not. And then there's the other, whatever the percentages are, I did not look those numbers up, but then there's the other percentages of families, and not just African Americans. And then we find ourselves with a loved one that might be like that, and no one wants to take charge. Charge of the medical. You have another person that may be in charge of finances, a person that may be in charge of their home or their condo or their property, and like that, if they have a business, who's taking over the business? Who's running it? If we don't talk about these things beforehand, when they happen, then those of us that do come alongside to take that journey so much, and you have one person or 2 or 3 persons that's trying to handle it. And so again, I have to continue to talk about these issues, because these are things that I'm now seeing staff, and they have family that's willing and able, but for whatever reason they don't, or they won't. It's not our business as to why, but it is our business, and I believe it is our responsibility as a human being, as a citizen of this earth, as women, to help. to do our part, whatever that is, just to be encouraging to them and to let them know that you can get through this. You will help them to create a plan. Whatever your area of expertise is in your life, maybe that's the thing that you can offer to them because you already know that you're good at it. And you helping them is going to be fruitful. Invent the wheel here. I'm just asking that as women, that we appoint ourselves as a committee of one to look out for other women. We'll be a good example that we're Christians that way. We're training and showing our daughters and our granddaughters and our nieces that this is how we take care of each other. You are your sister's keeper. We're talking about depression tonight. It's not just their problem. You can't just say, oh, that's them. That's not me. We don't know what's waiting for us down the road. We don't. And so I said earlier that we're not created to be. So let's not be one. Let's be a community that comes together, that comes alongside someone. Let's link up arm to arm and say, I've got you, girl. Because that's likely someone's mother. I'm not going there. I mean, I'm not going to cry. But that's someone's sister. And whatever differences they might have with their family, again, that's not our business. Not at the point when they need help and you're there and you're capable to give it. So give it. Not because you're looking for recognition, not because you're looking for a pat on the back, not even because you're looking for them to say thank you. They may not be able to. They may not have the capacity to do so. But I just think that it's so sad that in our world today, with all of the technology that we have, with all the money, that we have, with all of the resources that we have, that the number one resource is oftentimes lacking because nobody wants to get involved. Because we do say it's their problem and not ours. That's not fair. I just don't think that that's fair. It could just be a word. It could just be a word. So anyway, I say to search your own heart and find out where you are on your I care about you meter. I love you meter. I'm concerned about you meter. We all have one. We all have that meter, and it goes with us every day, everywhere that we are. That meter is right there with us. It's right here. It's right here. And if we don't check this meter, shame on us. Shame on us for not doing so. Because it could be your sister. It could be your daughter. It could be your granddaughter. It could be your niece. I'm zeroing in on women because I work with women. But let me please not leave the men and the brothers out. Because it's them too. When I talked about them being abused and battered and embarrassed to talk about it, no man wants to say my wife is abusing me. No man wants to say my wife is beating me. Hey, I'm abused by my wife or my significant other. No man wants to say that because he's the man. He's supposed to be the head. Meaning is the meaning for everyone. I really don't come on here to do these posts and get all emotional like that and everything. I'm supposed to just be coming on and giving the information and the spiritual download that the Holy Spirit is giving me. But I'm finding that I'm becoming so much more impassioned about this. Thank you, Jeanette, for your comment. Thank you. But yeah, I do find myself just getting so caught up. And I guess a part of it is because again I'm exposed to it every day, and it's sad, it's heartbreaking. But check your meter and see where you are on your I love you meter, I care about you meter, I'm concerned about you meter. We all have it. We all should use it every single day. We find ourselves in a situation where you can just show love. Sometimes it's just a smile. You know how many people don't get smiles? You know how many of my clients say to me that nobody loves me. And I hear them say that every day. And I say every day, there's two or three people that I know that love you. If you have children, your children love you. Even when they're babies, they love you. I'm here with you. I love you. And you know what? Whether you know it or not, the women that come across my path every day that are abused, that are depressed, that feel like no one loves them, they have nowhere to go, they have no resources, they have no idea where to turn to, they don't know who they can trust because the people that said that they love them, hey Rachel, thanks, sweetie. The people that said that they love them are the very people that have betrayed them. And so they feel like nobody cares. Sometimes they've gone to a church. A church is supposed to be a place of healing and helps. And they go to church only to find out there's nobody there. They feel like that anyway. There's nobody there at that church that loves them. And this is supposed to be a place of healing and refuge, right? And regeneration and second chances. Second chances is the 50th time, but it's my second chance. Only to discover that the church isn't there for them. That's depressing. That's hurtful. They feel left all alone. My family left me. My significant other left me. And now I go to a place that's supposed to be a watering ground. And they don't care about me either. So then they begin to feel like perhaps, well, if the church doesn't care about me, God's supposed to be in the church. God doesn't care about me either. Oh, my friend, please. So ladies, those of you that are watching, and for men, please do the same. Let's not take advantage of people that are disenfranchised at that point in their lives. Let's stand up as women and men, just as people. And for the saints and the Christians, you have become a living epistle to that person that God has allowed to cross your path. They may never enter into the walls of a physical church building, but to that person, you are the church. Christ in you. I don't want to get to the preaching part of it, okay? But Colossians 1:23 all the way to the end of that chapter. Read it. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ is in you so that you can be of a hope to someone else so that God can get the glory. Simple. Don't feel like I'm accusing anybody because I'm not. Thank you, Jeanette. You said great info. Sometimes I can't see my comments. Let me scroll down and see if there are more. Um, okay, I those too. So thank you for your comments and joining. And I hope that you are sharing this across your social media platforms because I again say that I come on and I share these posts because I just feel like God has commissioned me to do so at this point. So even though it's 1 o'clock in the morning, thank you all for being here with me. And there may be others that aren't speaking up, but thank you all for being here. But I have to do my part. This is my part. This is my part to bring awareness to hopefully to help shed some light and open the eyes of others around us so that we all become aware of really how grievous this situation is. Battered women and men, battered women and men, and those that also suffer from depression, men and women that suffer from depression. Like I said, there's nothing like hearing a young child screaming at the top of her lungs for her absent parent. And you can't take the child to the parent. There was nothing I could do. Excuse me. Sneeze. There was nothing I could do except to hold the child and try to comfort and give them some peace. But we all have a role to play. And I think that if we make ourselves a committee of one, that collectively we can make a dent. And who then knows? But by prayer and fasting, there can be and should be a turnaround in the kingdom. Come on now. Because it's not just those outside of the kingdom that suffers with depression, with abuse of different kinds, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. They're all different kinds of abuse, and there's different ways to abuse. That's not what this scope is about. It's not what it's supposed to be about. But sip of water. That if we come together as a community, and that if we would do what the Word of God says to bring heaven down here on earth, in heaven as it is, right? On earth. We can make a difference and we should make a difference. So I don't know. I guess I've talked long enough and cried and what have you. Like I said, I'm not here to accuse or condemn anybody. I am not a licensed medical person at all. I don't claim to be. I do not hold degrees or certifications in those areas, but I check my meter every day. And when I check my meter tells me that I have a right to say what I'm saying, and I have a right to present this information. You know why? Because when I check my meter, my I love you meter, it's on and it pulsates to let me know, not just that it's on, but that I care. That's my I love you meter. I care about you meter tells me the same thing. I'm concerned about you meter gives me the exact same message. I want to help, and is there something that I can do? The meter tells me that yes, you are concerned and there is something you can do. And I find out every day what that something is, and I do my best to fulfill it. Not a pat on my back at all. I'm just saying that this is what we can do as citizens of the earth. You can help your fellow man or your fellow sister. Because again, but for grace, it could be your family member. It could be your son or daughter. It could be your niece or nephew. It could be your aunt or uncle. It could be your family member. It could be your mom or your dad. It could be the person that you adopted by the way of love. They're not your blood sibling, but you adopted them by the way of love. So anything that we can do to help people in their situations, please do it. And please believe them when they come and they say to you whatever it is they say to you. I don't feel well and I haven't felt well for a long time. That is a sign. When they start losing weight rapidly, that could be a sign. They start gaining weight rapidly, that could be a sign. They no longer have interest in the things that they normally have interest in, the things that they like to do. That could also be a sign. And of course, for physical abuse, the bruises are there. That is definitely a sign. An outgoing person suddenly becomes an introvert over a short period of time. Or maybe it's a long, extended period of time because they've been trying to keep up appearances because they don't want anyone to know. These are just some signs. And again, I say, please go to our public platforms and look up the information. Signs I should know about depression. Signs that will make me aware of physical abuse. What are those signs? And the common number that we can all use, you don't have to memorize all of the other phone numbers and all of the other email addresses for, stopbullying.com. Excuse me. There's one about depression. There's tons of them. But if you just remember 1-800-25-ABUSE, they can get you to the right place. If you call them and that's not the correct resource, they can direct you to the correct resource. 1-800-25-ABUSE is a national directory hotline. You could call it 24/7. You could call on Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Someone will be there to receive your call and point you in the right direction, whatever your need is. So, this is Lady Victoria with Victoria School of Etiquette, where I always say that etiquette is a way of life because everything we do in life affects etiquette. We're exercising it whether we realize it or not. And so I'd like to greatly thank you for being a part of our platform on tonight. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for liking and sharing. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. And for those of you that are watching tonight, if you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's Victoria School of Etiquette. Please go to YouTube and subscribe, and you can get the notifications there as well. Thank you, Night Owls, for being a part of our Bedtime Chronicles on tonight, where our discussion was depression. Yours, not mine. Sorry, it's yours too. It's not just theirs. Please like and share across your social media platforms. I thank you for being a part of our viewing audience. And until next time, be in your best etiquette health. And I'll see you on the next broadcast. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Aw, that's a Buddha right there. Dear Shucky, that was your baby right there. Then her words, he has himself. That the G my brown baby. Then the words.